I like that inside line Cooper Webb's taken, just because, you know, he's playing a little defense. If you don't get a good jump, at least he can beat the guys on the left-hand side of him and sneak around the inside.
Yep.
Keep your eye on that start. A lot of guys been fading to the outside, so
don't want to be like Levi Kitchen, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. So keep your eye on that inside all night long.
Time to crank it up to the big bikes in Monster Energy AMA Supercross. 450 Heat 1. How does it work for Cooper Webb? Hunter Lawrence gets a blinding start, but Webb's on the inside. There's riders down on the inside, and down hard.
I think one of those guys was Dylan Ferrandis.
It is. Yep, and Mitchell Oldenburg. They're both back up and going again. Dylan was maybe trying to get his front brake lever back down. And so it's Hunter Lawrence and Cooper Webb. 1 and 2, nice and early in this first 450 heat.
Hunter Lawrence had an incredible battle with Justin Barcia last weekend at Philadelphia, literally the whole race. And keep your eye on the whoops right here. Guys are blitzing right there. Maybe towards the end of the night, some guy's going to go to the outside, some guy's going to go to the inside and elect to jump through there. And I like how that line, those two lines had developed, giving these riders two different line selections through the whoops, Will.
Hey Ricky, I was talking to the Honda HRC team about Hunter Lawrence, talking to Grant Hutchison there, who's the crew chief over there, about his progression. And he was saying that he likened this season originally to his 2022 250 season. That's a past mistakes there from Hunter, as I say that. As he kind of takes a little bit of time, Ricky, to get into his day, so he wasn't kind of necessarily strong early in the day. He said, but he's finished how he did in his 23 season, where he put in good qualifiers, good heat races, and they said they've surprised him. He surprised him how well he's done with that. Are you seeing that in Hunter, that sort of attack early?
Yeah, I am. What I'm seeing in Hunter is, number one, how well he's done at the tail end of this season and how much he's grown. We all know that he has a ton of talent, but his 450 career, I feel like, is similar to his 250 career, where it has taken him some time to get going, and very, very similar, almost like a spitting image of what we saw two years ago.
So you just saw there Eli Tomac dispose of Shane McElrath fairly effectively. Cooper Webb in the lead over Hunter Lawrence. But we want to go back to earlier today, show you something that was not very pleasant for the hero of this crowd, Eli Tomac. Check this out.
Right here, tough hit right there. He had to back out of jumping the triple, and ironically, that was where he blew his Achilles out last year. But this is the corner right here where I believe he snagged his wrist in a certain way. That was earlier today, qualifying practice. Remember, I told you guys the ruts were really deep, and the corners, the guys were trying to keep water. The track crew was trying to keep moisture in these corners to have these type conditions here.
So, behind Hunter Lawrence is Malcolm Stewart aboard his Rockstar Energy Factory Husqvarna. And Malcolm, there he is, they're all in white. Malcolm was the second fastest qualifier, which is his best qualifying of the year. And keep in mind that Malcolm basically had the best part of a year off and away from the sport last year through injury with his knee and surgery and then a long recovery. So Malcolm is definitely getting better the longer this year goes on, the longer the season goes on.
Yeah, he is, and working hard with the team as well. It's great to see Malcolm starting to catch fire here late. You know, when you take so much time off, like with his knee, months and months and months, it's hard to get back into that groove, and especially if you're not comfortable on the bike or something's not working properly, it just takes time to ride this level.
So Cooper Webb with that irritated and sore left wrist and hand, that it all started back in Birmingham. Don't necessarily think it was the crash with Jason Anderson last weekend. Right, he's been carrying it for a while.
It has.
And this is a really gutsy performance, Will.
That's right. It's been going on, like you said, Lee, since Birmingham there. And how it was described to me is he's basically, the docs have said to him, hey, you're going to have to take a break. You've got to stay off the bike in order for this to recover, because they don't really know what it is. There's no break. There's no torn ligaments. But obviously, the team told me that's not an option right now. He's fighting for a championship. So what he has to do is fight through that pain. And the problem being is that arm, that left hand gets weak, so he relies on the right, then he gets arm pump in the right. So it's just kind of this repetitive thing that he's in right now.
He's been pushed hard by Hunter Lawrence. Look at this. With 1.5 minutes to go, plus a lap, this one's far from done.
Yeah, Hunter's making up a lot of time. He's all over him. Going to be hard to pass a guy like Cooper Webb. Just he's so crafty. And Cooper Webb, in my opinion, has one of the he's one of the most aware riders, and he's very good at judging what riders are going to do.
Look at that.
Yep, crosses back up to the inside. Wondering if he planned that, knowing that Hunter was going to come the inside to try to make the pass.
JT?
Well, and it's so interesting to watch Hunter, because in the early laps when Webb was right behind him, you just saw him being a little bit passive. He wasn't aggressive, but as soon as he got behind Webb, learned a few new lines, calmed down a little bit, he's turned back into the aggressor. So I think it's one of those situations where Hunter's still finding his way in this 450 class. He's becoming more comfortable racing against the elites, and you can just see his confidence growing each and every lap here.
Well, especially when he got that first career 450 podium in St. Louis earlier this year. That was a huge boost for him. Let's show you something pretty interesting of what this guy's dealing with and how he's getting around it sometimes. Watch closely to his left hand.
Yeah, you see him put a land right there. Puts it on the
heel of his hand.
Heel of his hand, landing on the heel of his hand. This is after practice was over. So he's definitely struggling, but you know what? He doesn't talk about it. I had an opportunity to speak with him, and I didn't want to put him in a spot where he didn't want to talk about anything, but he's like, I'm not going to make excuses. You know, it is what it is, and I just have to go out there and perform in the circumstances that I'm in, and this isn't an excuse.
Well, we spoke with Jeremy Coker, the team manager at Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing earlier, and he said in the timeline of Cooper's injury, this might be the best that he's feeling, strangely enough. I want to remind you, Supercross Beyond the Gate is an exclusive behind-the-scenes series that will continue across all events this year and give the fans an inside look into the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing team, and new episodes every week on the Yamaha Motor USA YouTube channel. Cooper Webb is on his way home. He's been hassled continually by Hunter Lawrence, whose confidence only continues to accelerate aboard a 450.
Oh, Hunter comes up short.
Whoa.
Look at that. Oh, that was a nice save. That is a really tricky rhythm section. The reason that I believe it is because these guys don't have a lot like the 250. They don't have the power, because we're in elevation, to get that thing going and maintain a good speed. So if you clip one of the landings, it kills your momentum to go forward.
Cooper Webb, bike 2, gets heat win #2 of the year. Yeah, Coop gets it done. He got his first one way back in A1, so he's had to wait a while for a second heat victory. Eli Tomac comes across behind Malcolm Stewart for 4th. And we look forward to seeing them a little later in the main event, where a championship is up for grabs. We'll hear from Webb when we come back.